Hello all and welcome to my channel. My name is Regis Jerry and today I'm going to be going over the Track Mania Stadium level editor. So let's just pop over to editors. Here you're going to see that you can load your map, you can check your replays, paint your car, and we're going to go with new map. They have the simple and the advanced editor. I found that the advanced editor was actually really simple to use, so I'm kind of scared how simple the simple is. So we're just going to stick with advanced, and we're going to go with a night map for this one. Okay, once you log in, you're going to end up seeing that you just have this wide open green field. Going to look great for a football stadium. Just kidding, we're going to go with the track. And down here you have all of your various pieces. Most of them are good for set design, but the real bread and butter is going to be 2, 3, 6, and 1. In here you got the blue, which connects your yellow to your blue, and that is actually really good for those tight turns because it gives you that angle, really brings out the smoothness of a track. And then you have the yellow. This is really good for your elevation, so anytime that you need to go up or down or even split the track, this is where that comes in. 1 is really good for keeping your track level. This is for your good turns and your loop-to-loop, and then you can just lay out a road if you want to. But the red and white, this is my favorite. This is the dirt track. There is one piece, however, that I would recommend never putting into a map. That is going to be this 3-4 piece here. And I'm going to show you why here in a minute. So this is just showcasing what makes this editor so easy to use. It's not anything crazy, it's just that the editor itself is just built and geared to actually help a player who doesn't use editors very often create something from scratch. Once you end up getting into the flow of things, it really helps you out. Let's just do a quick tight turn here. And like I was trying to say, everything is in fact color coded. Hold down X to delete. That way I can put in a start and a finish. And I'm also going to end up needing to put in at least one checkpoint. So we're going to place that right here, right there at the end of the track. And then right here you have test mode and validate the track. Validating the track is where you end up playing your track out to completion to get your ghost up and running, whereas test the track, you can place this anywhere, for instance right here, and then you can go from there doing anything that you need. It's really good for testing out small areas, you know, going from a checkpoint so that you don't have to run the entire track just to test out one area. See, that is the first instance where you can clearly see that this jump has issues. The second one I will be showcasing as I come around to the end of this lap. So you see here, the bumps are already a little slightly confusing. You definitely know that you need to go forward based on the track layout and, you know, the distance of the jump. Over here, this is where it gets confusing, because from the front, all you see is you have a path to the left and a path to the right. So most people would think that it's a tight turn and then keep going, not being the wiser. What I would recommend putting here is actually this piece here. This is the best piece to put in right there. What this ends up doing is the player automatically knows right from the first look exactly which direction that they need to go, and that will help them out. At no point does the player ever have the confusion of not knowing if they're supposed to go above or below, because immediately they have railings, they have a path, they know exactly what's going on. And then coming from the other side here, you have a bridge. There is literally zero chance for a player to get confused and not know what to do. Now, from here, this would be a complete track if a designer would want it to be. You know, it's a good little figure eight. It's got one hard set turn and then one very tight knit turn. So it does bring out the best of both worlds. I mean, you don't need to go for flair or flavor. You know, you could even put in some set design right here. You could throw in some walls. You know, small things like this are really what bring out the actual feeling of a track. So let's take a quick look at that, you know, just from an internal perspective. Okay, so now as you're driving through, now you have these walls here that really shows you already which direction you need to head, and at the same time it gives you that, like, doesn't give you that wide open grass feel that we have on the outside there. So it really gives the player that immersion that you need. Because for a player to truly enjoy your track, what they're going to need to do is feel as though they're a part of the track. So if you wanted to even take it one step further, let's say we cut this part of the track out right here, cut that out there, then you go into this road, you can end up dragging this out to here. So you have the walls that are still going to be telling the player which way to go, but at the same time, let's take a quick look at what that feels like. So you have your walls, you have everything, then you see the break in the wall right there. You may want to put it a little bit closer to that turn, that way the player doesn't feel as though they need to take it. But what you could end up going with here is you could add some depth to your track. So as the player's coming up to here, all they see right here is this path leading out. And you could end up putting something like a set of pits here that are still walled in. You don't need to leave them. That's as simple as just going into here, grabbing this tool. Oop, wrong one. Oh, let's see if I can find it. There's one specific piece. There it is. It is in your 5, 4, 5, and 6. So what you have here is you have these little pieces. Well, what you can end up doing, let's say that I put this down right here. Put that down there. So now, I want to make the pits a little bit bigger. Add that, and then add one more piece in the center, if I can get it just right. Oh no. For some reason it's not letting me change up the way the pits are looking. There we go. So now you would just need to wall this in as well. Unfortunately, I was not able to find a way to get that to disappear. Oop. However, it really does bring out some depth in your level. This is going to look slightly sloppy. However, it should still come together semi-nicely. Main reason that I say that it's going to look slightly sloppy is because these corners here can no longer be fixed. That is because once the groundwork is put in, you cannot take it out. There is more than likely some way to get rid of that. However, for the time being, let's take a quick look at this. Okay, so here, player can turn in. And you would want to end up adding in a road right there. There we are. You will end up getting this little bump regardless. It's unfortunate that that has to happen. However, that's just the way the editor was created. I don't think they were actually planning on letting players make a pit. However, now you see there is an area that players can go inside of. It is walled off. It doesn't look too sloppy. It actually gives it a small amount of depth. So players can see where they would have started from and then drove out to get onto the track. So now you would just need to give something right here for set design that say player turn right. And then that will act as a Easter egg field. Because regardless of how fun the racing is, players do still enjoy a little bit of story with their game. Or maybe that's just me. Either way, it is not something that you need to try to keep out of a level. It's definitely something that I would always recommend adding. Unless you were going with a no story vibe. So let's just finish walling this off. If you wanted to add set design around the actual track itself, I would recommend not doing something like placing walls directly on the side of it, because you're going to be taking up that square. See, because now right here I am no longer able to put anything there, and that is how you end up getting these corner pieces that can't go in. However, this is now a basic track. It is complete. So what we can do now is we can quickly validate this track. Shouldn't take me more than 3 minutes to do. like I said, you probably would want to put some form of set design right here at this spot so that the player doesn't feel the need to hit that corner. For instance, if you know 3D modeling and can actually import assets, you know, maybe even look on the asset store, try to find something that like says pit stop, or try to invent an arrow using the stuff in engine, then that will benefit you tremendously. Unfortunately, there are no arrows at the moment that come with the vanilla Mania Stadium. 1 minute 7 seconds. So then you go to end validation. You can click on improve, but now next time that I go to validate the track, you will see your ghost. This is the ghost that is of the best time for the track. I always recommend trying to improve your time to the best that you can, because there is always going to be somebody who wants to get the best time, and you don't want to make it feel too easy. And if you're overly good at racing games, then you don't want to make it too hard. However, with a small track like this, really simple, really easy to figure out, you know, having a good time will definitely make the player want to try the track over and over again. So if it only takes them a minute, they will have that mindset. Whereas if you have a much longer track, you may want to ease up a tiny bit on your timing, because you could very well end up with a 5-minute time for best time on a track that will take the average player 8 to 10 minutes to beat. And by the time they beat it, if they even choose to finish the track, they may not want to even try it again to get a better score. Now, once you've done validated your track, you can go into further set design. So with that, one of the things that I am going to do is I'm going to end up putting a billboard right here. Something that says, "Come my way." Here we go. This is just a combination of the 2 and the 6, or the 4 or 3 and the 6 piece. This really gives you a little sign holder, and then if I remember correctly, it is not in 1. That's highly unfortunate. What I am looking for, there is a very small billboard piece, and that is in the 4. I remember. So this piece is 4/7. And then presto magic. Bring it down a little bit lower. And anytime you put in something, even if it is for set design, I will now have to revalidate the track. But at the same time, this is going to give me 3 opportunities to make sure that I can really feel drawn towards that portion. So instead of just having the turn right there that draws your attention, you have that sign now which draws your attention forward. So you will have considerably less people end up playing your track and having an issue with thinking that the pits are a valid part of the track. They may end up finding out that it's pits, and then having a restart. But in the meantime, what will end up happening is they'll look up, they will see that, they'll realize there's a wall here. And that could also end up being a small challenge for players. Adding a little bit of fun to it. Put in something that's slightly distracting just before a sharp turn. That way the player ends up having that one moment. Yes, they will hate it the first time, but every time they see it from then on, having that negative reaction at the start, they'll always have a positive reaction afterwards. because it's the tragedy theory, where if you just give them one moment where something bad happens, every moment after that where they see the same event, they will go back to remembering the first time where they had an issue and then laugh, thinking, oh, I remember that. There are some people who prefer positive reinforcement. There are moments where I feel that a brief pause of positive, giving it that little minuscule moment of negativity, is sometimes better. And with this, you have a complete track, all polished up, has the tiniest bit of set design, but in the end, it does come together really well. And you could make this in less than 15 minutes once you end up figuring everything out. And you could also end up, if you look at my previous videos, making a much larger, much more vibrant track. The sky's the limits. Maybe not in the case of this game. However, if you try your best, I'm pretty sure you could get as close to the sky as humanly possible and making a track which is truly amazing. So from here, you would want to go to save. This, you will need to compute the shadows. I'm going to go with fast, just so that you don't have to sit around watching me build lighting. Once the lighting is completed and the texturing is done, you now need to save your track. So you want to give it a good name. So for this, I'm going to go with Dirt Track 01. Just so that I know that in the future I may plan to go with Dirt Track 02. I could end up turning it into a series, and that is always fun to do. There are more things that you could end up going with. You can put in an introduction sequence, replay. You could change the ambiance, and you can go with custom music. You see here that it is validated with a perfect time of 1 minute 3 seconds. That will be the platinum challenge. Basically, that is my time, which would mean that you have to beat the person who created the track. That is always very difficult to do, especially if you end up playtesting. I cannot speak on that enough with this engine. Playtest, playtest, playtest. Because if you have even one moment where it is slightly difficult to get past, like a tiny hurdle, then that could end up breaking your map entirely. Nothing will come together right. From then on, the player won't want to replay your level. But you also see that I go all the way down to 135. I mean, even going slowly, I was able to get a good time of 1 minute 10, I do believe, which is still better than my gold time. But actually, no, it's still better than my silver time. So that shows that this track, however small it is, could still be used to allow casual and extreme players to have, that brief minute of fun. Hopefully not less than a minute, if my time was good enough. Thank you all. I hope that this ended up helping any of you who end up wanting to use Trackmania in the future to be able to really make a good level. For now, my name is Regis Jerry, signing off, and if you liked this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.